myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
Ends his final game with a walk-off single.
Here's a drive to left. That one is long gone.
Welcome to the Long Gone Podcast. It's me, Michael, and with me as always, yes, man.
What up?
Steve Ford.
How you doing, man?
What's up, man?
A whole lot. We got ass loads of snow here today. So that's
Goddamn
been
right
fun.
we do, Steve.
Yeah. I think we had a 100-car pileup over here in the west side of the state. I think it made national news.
Yep. Made national news on the 100-car pileup, and
10 degrees here right now as we record.
yeah, winter's pretty bad.
Yeah, winter's here, but it's sunny in Los Angeles, isn't it? As they pick up the big free agent, one of the big ones of the off season, getting Kyle Tucker.
Yeah, and everybody's bitching about it.
Everybody's bitching about it. Yeah. Yeah, and the flawed system here in baseball. The Dodgers get another one. They get Edwin Diaz. They get Kyle Tucker. I mean, I'm tooting my own horn because when we did the free agent prediction show, I believe I said that the Dodgers would get Kyle Tucker. But I kind of half jokingly said it, as like, we'll see what happens here. But yeah, they fucking did it again. Guys fucking making $60 million a year.
No,
Believe that?
when you go on luckyrebel.la for the odds, obviously it's no surprise you were looking before the show that the Dodgers
Yeah, they're
are gonna
tops
have the
right
best
now.
odds to win the World Series. They had it before Kyle Tucker. They have it after Kyle Tucker.
Yeah.
No shock there.
No, they're at a plus 220. Yankees are in second, surprisingly, with a plus 800. The Blue Jays coming in third. But yeah, man, I mean, the guy's getting 4 years or so, $240 million, making 60. A guy that missed half the season last year.
Right.
$60 million a year. He's making fucking more money than Aaron Judge.
Yeah.
You believe that shit?
Yeah.
This is a flawed fucking system.
Yeah, he didn't have a great year last year, and the fact that he's making what he's making. A lot of people are upset at the Dodgers. I wouldn't be upset at the Dodgers. I mean, Dodgers are playing by the rules. I mean, they want to win. I mean, that's just kind of what it is. I mean, yeah, this is the way that they want to win.
Like you were saying, though, I agree. I'm not mad at the Dodgers.
Yeah.
I think I'm mad at the system. The Dodgers are playing by the rules. They're, not breaking any rules here. It's just everyone else isn't coming up to the table here to kind of, jump in and do anything. And I think that's really kind of what pisses me off is none of the other owners are really stepping up to the plate and doing anything,
Yeah. I think that's why everybody's kind of pissed off about this, because it's the same bullshit we've seen time and time again where it's like, we've seen it with the Yankees in teams past. We've seen it with other teams, even the Padres a few years back, and obviously the Mets. And I think a lot of people are just upset that why aren't their teams buying in? And this all is going to accumulate, and it's going to keep building and building, and this is all going towards the new CBA. I mean, once 2027 happens, once 2027 is there, I think I think it's inevitable. We're going to have a big lockout because baseball can't really continue like this. It's so blatantly obvious at this point, and it is. It's not shame on the Dodgers at all. It's not shame on the Mets who ended up getting Bo Bichette. It's not, or the Texas Rangers from what they did a few years ago with getting Seager and Simeon and all those studs on their team, and DeGrom. It's not all that. It comes down to the owners and what are the owners going to do to make their respected clubs a lot better. And there's certain owners that will buy and certain ones that won't. I mean, you and I talked last week about owners, and I think the future of the ownership is in groups. It's an ownership group.
Definitely not going to be individuals. It's going to be a group ownership.
Yeah,
that's going to be your best chance to get your teams to sign those big free agents, so that the bill doesn't fall just on one person. They can spread the money out between a group of people to go after a signing and pay it out. So
yeah.
I mean, you're right on the money with that.
Yeah, I think it's inevitable. I think the one ownership, unless these guys are super billionaires,
Right.
they're just hurting their cities. I mean, a lot of these, I feel bad for teams like the Pirates fans and like us fans like us. I mean, we used to be buyers back in the day, and now
we're cheap fucks.
Yeah, now we're not buying at all. And I know a lot of it has to do with whether there's going to be baseball or not next year.
Right.
And I think that has a lot to do with it. I think everything's just coming to head right now, and it makes an interesting story. Like what's going to happen, right? I mean, the people who are going to get these big contracts. I mean, what happens if Skubal can't get his contract until after next year? Well, by the time he gets paid, he'll be 32 years old almost, you know?
Yep.
So,
yeah.
You know,
yeah,
and
it sucks.
It does suck. And when you have a league that's grouped with sports books, I mean, for instance, you know, if you go on Lucky Rebel, I mean, that's another one where it's, you know, it's constantly talking odds. It's so intertwined with sports that there's many more factors in play than just TV deals now. I mean, it's now you have other deals coming in the form of gambling, and that look like, right?
Yeah. They're all it's 1 and 1A. They're, you know, tied in together, baseball and gambling, and we talked about that with sports in general. Once they got in the bed with the gamblers, what would change as far as the landscape of, you know, contracts and money and that sort of thing. And yeah, it sucks. And there's definitely going to be a work stoppage next year because it's you know, players aren't going to leave their pedestal of what they think, and owners are, you know, going to have their ideas, and there's going to probably be a big gap between the two, and it's going to be a tumultuous stoppage here, probably something we haven't seen in, you know, since '94, I'd say.
Yeah, I think you're right, Steve. I think you're right. I think you're going to see something huge, and it's because baseball constantly shoots itself in the foot. And right now, it's you're dealing with money, and a lot of owners feel that they don't want to spend. They don't want to spend millions of dollars on a roster, on a player, and you know, and a lot of people say, well, maybe they should get like a floor, maybe a ceiling, or a salary floor and a salary ceiling. And it's like, yes, I totally understand that. But how can you go from talking to players and telling them that every contract's guaranteed? There's not ever a salary cap, so you can make theoretically, you can make anything you want, as high as you want. And then telling players that are coming up who are potential superstars who need to be paid, sorry, you can't make Shohei Ohtani money anymore. You know, you got to make whatever the going rate is because of the salary cap.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how do you break that to players? I mean, that's a really tough one. So I just don't think the players union, Steve's going to go for it.
Yeah, I don't think they are either. So we'll just have to wait and see what the compromise is, but they definitely will not go for that.
No.
So.
Yeah, and Tony Clark, I mean, he's as iron-fisted as they come when it comes to...
He really is. Oh, yeah.
I mean, he ain't going to budge, and none of the players' unions are going to budge. And, you know, I blame agents, too. I blame Scott Boras. He's just as much to blame. He wants top dollar for every one of his clients, which is good. That's not shaming him, but at the same time, he's the one that expresses that his guys need to either move on. So, I mean, he doesn't believe in loyalty. He believes in my client needs the top dollar, which is great, right? But then there's a sacrifice that comes to that because teams are like, fuck, you know, this guy's...
Yeah, I don't want to deal with this asshole.
I don't want to deal with this fucking guy. You know what I mean? And he's the reason that there's... I'm kind of making it sound like it's a bad thing. It's actually not a bad thing in the player sense, because to have somebody like Scott Boras who believes in a client, because he's not going to take somebody on he doesn't think is going to be worth a lot. So
no.
It's in his best interest to get top dollar for his client. But at the same time, a lot of teams don't want to have to deal with him, don't want to pay that amount. So he's the only ones that are his true client buyers are the East Coast, West Coast teams, right?
Yep. Those major market teams, your LAs and your New Yorks usually.
Yeah. And he's like, well, you don't want to pay this for this player? Okay, well, I'm taking them to New York or LA. Yeah.
Because they will. Eventually they'll pony up and do it. Yep.
Yeah, they will, man. They will. And you know, with Bo Bichette going to New York with the Mets, I mean, that's sad too, because
it is.
It's like Toronto. It's once they got Okamoto, it was like, oh, I guess that's just sealing the deal on the Bichette coming back, which I don't know why you wouldn't want to sign him. I don't get that.
I don't get it either. I mean, you're coming off a World Series appearance. You're still, looking at you know, looking at Lucky Rebel at the odds here. They still got the Blue Jays as third best odds for the World Series at plus 1200. You got a really solid core there with Vlad Jr. I mean, I don't
Right.
know why they want to bring it back, but you know, good on the Mets. They ponied up and gave Bo the money. I just hope that he can stay healthy because he missed most of that postseason run with the Blue Jays there up until the World Series. So hopefully he can stay healthy and pick up on what he did last regular season because
Yeah.
you're not in Toronto anymore. The lights are much brighter here in New York. So,
Yeah. But it's kind of sad, right? Because I mean, that was
it
the
is.
rebuild that we seen. That was something that we've closely followed. They got Vlad, they got Bichette, they had some really top prospects, and they molded these guys into really good ball players. And then now
Yeah.
it's like they're broken up. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
well, we're gonna invest heavily in Vlad, as you should. He's the Batman. And then you get the Robin of it with is Bo Bichette, but it's like, man, he's a table setter. He's a guy that's just taking off, in my opinion, in his career. The fact that you couldn't re-sign him is just sucks. It absolutely sucks. But I guess the writing was on the wall when they signed Vlad to that monster deal. But it's a bummer, right? Because Toronto's like, no, we're not going to go any more than that. Our biggest contract's going to be Vlad Jr.
Yeah. Remember Kevin Biggio was in there too? It was supposed to
Yeah.
be that three-headed monster.
Yeah.
Good old Kevin.
Supposed to be a stud. Kevin was supposed to be the
Yeah.
next coming of his dad, but I think people quickly realized it was like he was good in name, just not good as a player.
Yep. Good in name only.
That sucks too. Yeah, I had really high hopes for Kevin Biggio. I had my Kevin Biggio stock was like full.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
No, I'd gotten myself some Cabin Biggio cards in hopes that it was going to take off, but now if you look on market movers, you can pretty much pennies on the dollar right there. So
Yeah, same. Yeah, I thought Kevin Biggio was going to be the man, but I mean, I know that those odds you gave on Lucky Rebel, I honestly don't even think that the Blue Jays would be considered 3 anymore. If I'm a better,
no,
I'm not
I
even
think
going to
that
consider them since they lost Bo Bichette in the top 5.
Yeah, I think these need to need to be updated because I think the Blue Jays stock have as far as odds have dropped considerably. I'd put them below Seattle. I'd put them below the Phillies. I'd even put them below the Braves right now.
I would too. Yeah.
So that's a big piece that they lost. And
big piece. Yeah.
Hoping that George Springer is the George Springer that he was last year and not all the other years before that when he sucked ass on his big contract. You're hoping for a lot here. And I would drop the Blue Jays odds right now because that's just a huge loss losing Bo Bichette.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. So going forward, it's going to be interesting. I think we're seeing the last 5 years, last 3 years, mostly, it's been really bad in the offseason with trying to sign free agents. And, we always have a hope that, when we're Tigers fans, so we hope that they sign those big free agents. But it's like Baez is probably going to be the last big free agent signing we have. At least
I will remember you.
Yeah, like once a show, which is hilarious. I think I don't think we realize that maybe that's until we get another owner or baseball changes, we're never going to see a big contract come our way. And you might as well say if prospects get good, we ain't signing them. You know what I mean?
It's the Pirates way.
Yeah, the Pirates way. So baseball's got to change. Business wise, but you got to find that happy medium to where the players are happy and the owners are happy. I think the people that end up taking it in the ass the most are the fans. I mean, we're the ones that buy the tickets. We're the ones that watch it on TV. We're the ones that buy the merchandise. We're the ones that spend our afternoons or nights. We go to these games and we're paying for the high price parking. We're constantly being high dollar, penny pinched, everything. From the food down to the parking, down to the hotel you stay at. And in the end of this, the people that are getting rich off of it are the teams, the players, and the fans. It's like, well, how about the product on the field, right?
Yeah.
That's my biggest complaint with this is the product on the field. Then it's like, okay, you're paying this much, then the product on the field has to be better. But if you're not paying that much, then what? You're still paying those fucking ridiculous rates and not getting a winner, like just because because the owner doesn't want to spend. I don't know, man. that part
I
to
didn't go
me
to the
stinks,
Tigers
and
last
baseball
year.
needs to change for that.
Yeah. No, that's kind of why I chose not to go to a Tiger game last year, because I just couldn't afford it. And sure, they got in the playoffs. That's all well and good, but I thought the product on the field wasn't worth me driving for the 2.5 hours over to Detroit and paying the parking and paying the concessions and paying the ticket price to fucking get in there. And it wasn't worth it.
Yeah, for a team that is, you don't know, right? I mean, it's and it's sad too, because in the Tigers state case, or teams like the Tigers, if they make the postseason, that just gives ownership a reason to never spend.
No, it is. Yeah, it's like, see, we're succeeding.
Yeah, even though
But
it's clunky.
you're not really succeeding because we got the worst fucking division in all of baseball.
Yeah.
In
this week, Steve, we have the Then and Now series again. We're talking catchers. But before we do that, I'd like to take a quick pit stop and have a word from our sponsors.
Whether you're a casual collector or a seasoned card enthusiast, the Penny Sleever is your one-stop shop for all your card protection needs. We carry everything from classic regular sleeves and versatile top loaders in multiple thicknesses, 35-point, 55-point, 75-point, 100-point, and beyond, to premium magnetic card holders and specially graded sleeves perfect for PSA and SGC slabs. Need resealable bags, team bags, vintage sleeves, or colored top loaders? We've got over 71 products in stock, all priced to help you build and protect your collection without breaking the bank. And now we're offering an exclusive promotion just for you. First-time buyers can get 10% off their entire order with promo code LONGGONE. Just visit thepennysleever.com and use that code at checkout. Don't let your valuable cards go unprotected. Shop the Penny Sleever today and see why collectors trust us with their most prized possessions. The Penny Sleever. Premium protection, penny pinching prices.
Partnering with the Penny Sleever, Steve, also, I think, a lot of our viewers, our listeners probably won't see it, but our viewers, in the next week or a couple weeks, you'll probably see a little bit more merch laying around the office and the room of Steve and myself. And
for sure, yeah.
The Penny Sleever is going to be sending a few things our way that we can not just promote it, but show that we actually use the product as well. I mean,
I'm looking forward to that.
Dude, I mean, if you look, I'm going to take my camera, everybody. Clearly, I need some Penny Sleever in my life with all these cards laying around that I haven't put away yet.
Get some bulk up on them Penny Sleevers, man.
But yeah, bulking up for sure. I'm out of a lot. Need more top loaders. Need a little bit of everything. I need some hard sleeves. I need a lot. One thing I've noticed in my collection is I've been on a fucking tear with cards lately, Steve. I know it's not collection yet, but I've been on a fucking tear with cards. I've been buying. I spent $43 the other day on a sweet church glass Mookie Betts, and then proceeded to spend another over $200 more on baseball cards. So
my God,
I might have a problem. The problem might have returned.
Geez, so we should have another segment here of Collectors Anonymous right here. Hi, I'm Michael, and I'm a collectorholic.
Yeah. Holding me, shaking, holding a card.
Yeah, just shake. Yeah. Yeah. You start itching yourself because you've been going through withdrawals. It's been 2 days since you've gotten on Whatnot.
Are those cuts on your fingers? Those are card cuts. Oh my God!
Those are card cuts. You've been opening packs, haven't you? I need. Please. This Vlad ain't gonna post itself. No. Ain't gonna post itself. Oh my God.
But with that, we're gonna do our Then and Now series. It's we did pitchers last week to kick it off. We're doing catchers this week. Obviously, our listeners know it's one of my favorite positions. We're going back to the 1990s. We did the 90s. This will be the 90s for all positions going forward for the next 7 weeks.
Yeah.
About every position. Who are the top catchers of the 90s? I mean, catching as a whole in the 1990s had a lot of tough catchers, a lot of big body catchers, right? I mean, I thought it was not as much finesse like it was in the 70s or 80s for the catching position. In the 90s, it was kind of gritty type of catchers, guys that would stand in the baselines, guys that, you had a mix of power, a lot of power guys, behind the plate, guys that were big. I mean, you had everywhere from muscles to short and stocky, Pudge Rodriguez, and, people like that. So, Steve, if you want to kick off with your number 5 best catcher from the 1990s, who do you got?
I'm going to go with a guy that doesn't get talked about too much, and I had to do a little research on him myself, and that's Brian Harper. During his time in the 90s there, he was on the Twins, part of their World Series team there in 91. A guy, solid average, I'll say that. Didn't hit for much power, but he could get you 290, hit over 300 a few times there, in the 90s. His peak for home runs was 12 in 1993, but he could drive in the runs and just hit for average, got on base. Just a menacing looking guy too. Got a mustache that is pretty freaking sweet, but just a behemoth of a guy. 6'2", close to 200 pounds. Great behind the plate. But yeah, I mean, could get on base, hit you doubles. Doesn't really going to get you home runs, but could hit for average. And just a really solid, serviceable catcher there. Mostly got a lot of his everyday playing time was in the 90s there, as he wasn't really an everyday guy too much. During the 80s when he first was starting out. So yeah, Brian Harper, he comes in for me at number 5.
Good for you with that Brian Harper pick.
Good for me, Brian Harper. Who? Exactly.
Yeah, when you think 90s catchers, Brian Harper isn't a guy that you jumps off the page, but he's a guy that was sneaky good. Another guy, I'm kind of going what Steve did. I mean, kind of guy that you don't really hear about, but unless you're a Midwest guy, especially a Pittsburgh guy, Jason Kendall. Jason Kendall with the Pirates was one of the better catchers of the 90s. He came in the late 90s. He debuted in 96. And he was top vote getter. I mean, he was third in all rookie of the year voting as well. But his best year was in 1998. 1998, he absolutely killed it, hitting .327 with 75 ribs, 12 home runs. He was not a big home run guy, but he was a guy that can easily get on base, and he could drive in runs if needed. One thing I loved about Jason Kendall, aside from his command behind the plate, was he could see everything before it happened. I think when I grew up as a catcher, I thought of Jason Kendall, and I thought, man, this guy, he kind of is like 2 plays ahead of what's going on, right? And I loved his double play capabilities when it was a double play situation from behind the plate. I loved his reads. I loved how he worked pitchers, especially young pitchers. And I mean, Henry Davis, who is the catcher, one of the catchers right now of the Pittsburgh Pirates, only hopes to be what Jason Kendall is. The guy's still immortalized. Jason Kendall's still immortalized in Pittsburgh, and career .288 average with the team. He played damn near 10 years almost 10 years in Pittsburgh out of his 15-year career. But yeah, Jason Kendall for me is even though he didn't play all the 90s, the late bloomer in the 90s is my number 5 pick.
Solid. Who? No, I'm just kidding.
Who? I love Jason Kendall.
Number 4 for me, talking about guys that spent their careers mostly with the same team, it'd be Darren Daulton. Good old Darren Daulton here with the Philadelphia Phillies here. Had a couple of really good years there, 92, 93. That Phillies team there in 93 that came so close to winning the World Series. They lost to the Blue Jays, but back-to-back 20-plus homer seasons, over 100 RBIs, sneaky good, and top 10 in the MVP voting that year. Darren Daulton's a 3-time All-Star. Didn't really hit for high average. Could get you close to 300. In 94, he did, in that strike short season, did get to 300. But usually, in the low twos, 270 sometimes was a high mark there for him, but could show the power when he needed to. Was prone, when he was getting the power, he was prone to striking out a little bit more, but could draw some walks too. I mean, in 93, his All-Star season 7th MVP voting, he walked 117 times in 147 games, so he could draw a walk, could get you the sneaky power from time to time, and just a solid catcher on those 90s Phillies teams. So Darren Daulton, he comes in for me at number 4.
Love it. Love it. Another guy that kind of had a short run of success. I mean, a lot of these catchers I've noticed that we're choosing, except maybe the top two, it was really a short burst in their career. Yep. And then it kind of just easily kind of whittled away. But that's the glory of catching, right? I mean, it's some guys hit soon or late, and then they have like a small surge. That's why I don't think the Kyle Raleigh thing is here to stay. But anyways, my guy, one of my favorite fucking players, and this is one of my favorite players in the 80s and the 90s, but he mostly broke out in the 90s, was my boy, Mickey Tettleton.
Oh, Mr. Chaw himself right there.
Big old fucking Chaw. Everybody remember
lipper like no other, man.
Yeah, just big old fucking lipper. I mean, his whole face would be all bloated on the one side with that thing. And, you know, he was drafted by the Oakland A's, went to Baltimore, and then he went to Detroit. And that's actually where he started taking off. He showed signs of being really good with Baltimore, but I don't think they put him, you know, when I don't think they were playing him right, and he was splitting time. But when he was with Detroit, he became an instant star. An absolute instant star. In his first season with Detroit, he had, 89 ribs, 132 hits, 31 home runs. And then he just took off. And then once 94 came, he still hit 17 home runs. And then he ended up moving on to the next season, Texas, where he finished out his career. But man, I remember Mickey Tettleton as being one of the greats in the mid 90s, early to mid 90s or early 90s, I should say, for the Detroit Tigers. And he was just a fun watch. When you think of Mickey Mantle, right? He kind of reminded me of, not because his name is Mickey, but he kind of had the same hulking kind of physique to him because he was like a big, strong country boy. Yep. And he was never like a look at me kind of guy at the camera. He was just a hard-nosed player from Oklahoma. And it was just like, wow. I mean, those early 90s, Mickey Tettleton gave you hope that those Tiger teams could have been great, but they weren't, obviously. It was the end of Trammell's career, the end of Whitaker's career.
No pitching.
Enter Bobby Higginson and the shit that was the 90s after that. But yeah. But I really do. I mean, I remember the Ken Griffey, was it Ken Griffey baseball, or there was a baseball game, RBI baseball, where you could be Mickey Tettleton, and I'd always hit like 60-some home runs a season with him when I played on Sega Genesis, and I loved watching Mickey, and he was one of the early favorite players of why I wanted to be a catcher is because of Mickey Tettleton. So for me, I wanted to put him higher, but obviously, I mean, he was only a 3-time Silver Slugger, 2-time All-Star, doesn't quite rank with some of the greats that we're going to be talking about, but I had to put him on my list in the best 90s catchers. So for that, he is my number 4 pick.
Well, I liked him so much. I gave him the hometown love. I moved him up to number 3 on my list, and a lot of that was because of, you know, my memories of watching him play as a Tiger and meeting him a few times. He made the autograph rounds with the Whitecaps, and I actually met him a couple of times. He was autographing stuff out of Meyer one time. So, you know, just like you said, the lipper. I remember when I saw him with the Whitecaps signing autographs, my brother texted me and he was like, "Does he have a lipper in?" I was like,
"Does he have a
I don't think so, but it wouldn't dope if he did."
You know, he had one pack and it was just small.
Oh, yeah. You know,
guys like that.
Post playing days, he has to, you know, shrink it up a little bit. But like you said, just, you know, country strong, power, fun to watch. I loved his batting stance. If you look at our picture for the show, our Little League pictures, I was kind of you know, trying to imitate Mickey Tettleton in my stance there. When I did for Little League, really cool. I mean, you know, he had that one line in Little Big League, "Welcome to the big leagues, kid," flipped him the ball. But, you know, as far as playing, you know, watching him hit those home runs at Tiger Stadium was just a good early childhood memory for me on those 90s Tiger teams. And because of that, Mickey Tettleton, he comes in for me at number 3.
Yeah, always a big Mickey fan. Wish he would have stayed longer with Detroit, but I understand they were kind of
writings on the wall. Team sucks.
That team was just trying. Those 90s Tigers are trying to figure out what they were. They were trying to reclaim the magic that they had in the 80s, and they got some reclamation projects and people they thought they could turn around and some sleepers. It just did, you know, like I said, you were getting at the end of the career of some of your bigger stars. Just wasn't working out. But Mickey Tettleton, it was fun while it lasted, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
My number 3 is Darren Daulton. You know, I like the mullet. I like Oh, I love that he was a left-handed hitting right arm throwing catcher. You know, the Phillies the 90s Phillies teams weren't spectacular, but they weren't bad. I never considered them bad. I mean, you know, I thought they were, they had some good players in the 90s for the most part, but Darren Daulton led that core, man. I mean, he kind of had a Gary Carter-esque type to him, but a little bit bigger maybe. And he was a guy that didn't, like Steve said, he didn't have a ton of power. I mean, 92, 93, he came out, you know, with a big stick with, you know, over 20 home runs each of those seasons, which he was batting in the middle of the lineup. Obviously, saw a little bit more, and he was getting more strikeouts. I think that's why they moved him away after that. But for the most part, I mean, he was a guy kind of like in the Jason Kendall mold where he'd get you that big hit that you needed. He wasn't a liability at the plate. I mean, his career average wasn't great at 245, but not a bad OPS of 784, in my opinion. You know, he was a guy that wasn't going to kill you with stats, but he was just a good, solid at bat. He was a solid behind the plate. He caught just about every fucking game, you know, but then injuries started creeping up to him, of course. That was one thing in throughout his career was, you know, he had some seasons where it was like this guy was awesome, but then injuries just started hitting him a little bit more. And then once at the end of the 90s, you know, near the end of the 90s, I think he was still wanted to play, but the injuries were just too much. And you saw the age really kicking in at 35. I mean, that's the thing. Catchers back then, you know, I mean, when you look at a catcher at the end of their career, their age might say late 30s, early 40s, but they walk like they're in their 50s and 60s. I mean,
their knees are shot.
A lot of those guys' knees were shot, and Darren Daulton was no exception. I mean, they tried him in right field, they tried him at first base, it wasn't working. I mean, I think by the end of his career, it's just the ligaments, the joints just weren't there anymore. But for that, though, Darren Daulton being a really good player, broke in with the Phillies in '83 at 21 years old, just him and that mullet carried him pretty far. So Darren Daulton for me comes in at number 3.
Nice. Number 2 for me.
I mean, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong with this guy. If you know, the Lucky Rebel site was a thing back in the 90s, you'd see this guy near the top always for MVP. Probably just one of the, you know, best catchers, not only of his age, you know, of his era, but all times. That's Pudge Rodriguez.
Yeah.
He comes in for me at number 2. You know, the guy could do it offensively, you know, can give you some pop. Obviously, MVP in 1999 when he hit 35 home runs, 113 RBIs, you know, could give you the pop in the bat, but also just knew how to work a pitching staff and was just an excellent defensive catcher too. I mean, a 13-time Gold Glove Award winner, 14-time All-Star. You know, hit for average, hit over 300 multiple times in his career. You know, I mean, this guy who, you know, in 2000 he was able to hit 347 in limited action, 91 games, but still, you know, instinctive, really stocky player. You know, a guy 5'9", you know, not the tallest, but he just was. It's just something about him, you know, just, you know, single-handedly, we're talking 90s, but in the 2000s, I think he saved that Tigers franchise coming over, taking a chance there. But I love Pudge. Always been one of my favorite players. So Pudge Rodriguez, he comes in for me at number 2.
Yeah, you're on my list are kind of the same right now, right? My number 2 is Pudge as well, man. I mean, when you think of 90s catchers, Steve, he is the guy. I mean, who do you remember the most in the 90s of the Texas Rangers? It was Pudge Rodriguez and Juan Gonzalez. And, you know, and those guys were, it was cool to watch, man. It was a blast to watch as, you know, for a Rangers fan, it had to have been out of this world. And I'm sure when they ended up losing Pudge, when they moved on from Pudge, I think he was traded to the Yankees. I can't remember. I think he was traded to the Yankees. Yeah, I believe he was traded to the Yankees. But, or not to the Yankees, to Florida.
Florida, that's where he won the World Series, yeah.
Yeah, yep. Or maybe he was a free agent signing. But one thing, and I've said this before in our podcast, one thing I credit Pudge Rodriguez for is the Detroit Tigers turnaround. Because they were coming out of the 90s, bad fucking 90s teams, like we were just talking about. I mean, you had some glory there with... some Cecil Fielder and Mickey Tettleton and some guys like that, right? But then it was like, I don't think we're ever going to be good again. And then Pudge Rodriguez, coming off of a World Series, decided, I'm going to go to Detroit. They need a catcher. And him and Fernando Vina, I'll never forget, were the first bigger names to sign free agent deals with Detroit. And then suddenly it was a destination. Other players wanted to play. And people loved Pudge Rodriguez. People loved playing with Pudge Rodriguez. And that's why it was easy to get some of those guys over, right? Your Maglio Ordonez is coming over. And some of them, it was like, yeah, let's join in on it. Miguel Cabrera, when he ended up coming over to Detroit. I mean, it was like an easy trade, right? I mean, it was like when Marlins traded him to Detroit, it was like, fuck yeah, I'll come over there, you know?
Yeah, yep. Pudge is there. I'll do it. Yeah,
exactly. Because Pudge was a leader in the clubhouse, and you know he was a short guy. That's why I kind of liked him. It was like, man, look at this small catcher, but he was like, you know, like a little muscle hamster, you know, and little Mighty Mouse. And you know, there's been some talks that he might have been in PEDs. It was never confirmed. So, you know, that's neither here nor there for us to say. But I mean, he broke in the league at 19 years old and became arguably one of the greatest catchers of all time. So yeah. He was a guy that you could just always count on and a leader on and off the field. So, yeah, man, for me, Pudge is definitely number 2. Could easily be number 1 if it wasn't for this next guy you're about to talk about.
I mean, who can forget his role on Baywatch, right?
Right? Ted Williams approved. I mean, talk about that role. I mean, it was what? I mean, you know, we think of Michael Corleone and Al Pacino in The Godfather, but the guy you're about to mention wore his jersey to the beach.
Wore his jersey to the beach and was swinging his bat, you know, just in the middle of the beach, getting ready for when they were going to call him back. And that's Mike Piazza.
Yeah, baby.
Talk about a world-class mullet. Early on in Piazza's career, he was rocking that mullet too.
Dude.
But
he was
he backed up the mullet. Oh yeah, he backed up the mullet with some fantastic play, though. I mean, Rookie of the Year in '93. The guy was a 12-time All-Star, 10-time Silver Slugger Award winner. You know, we talk about Pudge, you know, being able to put some pop in his bat. There was a stretch of time there for Piazza when he was with the Dodgers where he's hitting, you know, 30, 40 home runs in a season without breaking a sweat there, over 100 RBIs, solid batting average. I mean, this is a guy who, you know, hit fucking in 1997, 152 games, he hit 362. You know, flirting with 400, so he could hit for average. You know, obviously a lot of people remember his time with the Mets, but I loved him early on there with the Dodgers. I mean, true underdog story. The guy was picked in the 62nd round of the draft and just worked his way up and you know, got in there and you know, great offensive you know, production. You know, could solid defensively as well, but just a fantastic, you know, just a great catcher, great career. People forget, you know, that he played for the A's in 2007, but we're talking about the 90s here, guys. And Mike Piazza, he was the tops, I think, and as far as catchers go for the 1990s. So Mike Piazza comes in for me at number 1.
Yeah, Mike Piazza, one of the best Italian names ever.
Yeah.
You know, I remember him breaking in. You see that old footage of Ted Williams watching him hit, and Ted Williams was like, Jesus Christ, this kid's to be a star. And, you know, he only moved to catcher just so he can get drafted higher because catcher, there really wasn't a lot of hitting catchers when he was drafted. And, you know, that wasn't his position, but he became a catcher because he thought it would help his draft status because he wasn't really a highly touted guy, right? So, surprisingly too, because he came from Miami. So
yeah,
kind of crazy. But I mean, it was a guy that, I mean, he could have easily hit 500 home runs had he played another 3-4 seasons.
Yep.
But at the end, it was just like every catcher. Their knees start giving out, and he wasn't even playing catcher. I think when it was all said and done, I mean, he was DHing, or I don't even know. Well, yeah, he was DHing for Oakland and first base, and you know, I mean, you look at his Hall of Fame candidacy, he has a 300 average. I like it a lot, right? I mean, and when you think the 90s, I mean, I remember Mike Piazza was one of my first cards as a kid, one of my bigger collections. And he was just everybody liked Mike Piazza. And I think he had like 2 different careers. He had one when he was started with the Dodgers. He was kind of the only name the Dodgers had for the longest time. And Raul Mondesi were like in Hideki
Mondesi.
And is Raul Mondesi in prison? Anyways,
Nomo's in prison?
No, remember Mondesi? We were like,
Mondesi, yeah.
Wasn't he running for like president or something of his country?
Oh yeah.
And then he went to Florida, but then he went to the Mets, and he was recognized as kind of like this heroic figure with the New York Mets, especially after one of that home run in 2001 after the September 11th attacks, and he became kind of like a figure in New York sports, which is just, I mean, you look at his name, you look who he is, you're like, oh, American hero. I mean, New York tries to find their American hero. I mean, they always try to pin those guys. I mean, right now their American guy is Aaron Judge. Right before that, it was Derek Jeter, and but in New York at that time, I mean, really, aside from Jeter, it was really Mike Piazza, and it was great. It was great to watch. So yeah, for that and just everything he means to baseball, big stud catcher, man. Yeah, he comes in for me at number 1 as well.
Nice. Well, we move from the then to the now,
Ooh.
And let's take a look at our
our list. Looking at our list, Steve, it's kind of the same. I mean, if you could kind of, in a nutshell, say what catchers are now, it's hard to say. I always thought the future of catching would be better hitters, and you do have that, but it's not as much as I thought. I thought there'd be more hitting catchers in this league, especially after Adley Rutschman. And yeah.
Spoiler alert, he's not on my list. All right.
Yeah, not on mine either. Sad, right? He dropped off. I had him on there to begin with at like number 5, and then I thought, no, man. I mean, he's dropped off every single year.
Yep. Yeah, he really has. I mean, it's an absolutely pathetic.
Yeah.
But here's a guy for me at number 5 that's not pathetic, and that's going to the Dodgers again, from one Dodger catcher to another, and that's Will Smith.
Yeah.
Will Smith is we're not talking about Men in Black Will Smith.
Yeah.
We're talking about the catcher Will Smith. It's a guy who third straight All-Star season here. Finished 20th in the MVP voting. That's saying something. Had a career high in batting average here at 296. Still puts some pop in the bat. 17 home runs, 61 RBIs. But calls a good game. Does very well defensively. Just a really solid season. Catching here. Did miss some time with the injury bug. Did hit him a bit. Appeared in only 110 games, but for the most part, he's a very serviceable catcher, and just another great cog in that Dodger machine there. So Will Smith, he comes in for me at number 5.
Number 5 for me, I went straight for not a newbie. He's been in the league for almost 3 years now. The young player is Hunter Goodman. He is
solid.
one of the Rockies' only bright spots. This spot I was going to keep for Adley Rutschman, but like I said, Adley has really disappointed me last year. I mean, he was non-existent, and it's not for lack of not playing. He played a lot, and he has some injuries here and there, of course, but I like what Hunter Goodman brings. This is a guy that shows he has 30 home run power, right? He could hit. He has 30 home run potential. He's a guy that is not a liability at the plate. He hit 278 last season. And I saw more potential to even do better. And I don't love his high strikeouts, but I mean, it's where he hits. And also, the Rockies don't have great players, right? So I don't know if you're aware of that.
True. Wait, they don't? What about Chris Bryant? That guy's
what the hell's going on?
That guy's a jewel.
Hunter Goodman was one of the lone bright spots for the Rockies, and it's a guy they can kind of rest their head on and build off of. Like I said, he's coming to his 4th season this year, and I like what he brings. I think it's too soon for me to put him up any higher than this because I just want to make sure that this last season wasn't a fluke. Like I said, I mean, I hate saying there's fluke seasons because it's very hard to hit 30-plus home runs and get 90 RBIs like he did, but he's good enough to show that there might be something more to this. So for that, he's on my Hunter Goodman is my number 5.
Be a little higher on my list. Stay tuned for that. Coming in for me at number 4, I went with William Contreras of Milwaukee. Kind of a step back. Didn't make the All-Star team this past season. Kind of did step back average wise from 281 down to 260, but still showed that and you got to remember the guy is only 28 years old, so he's still just coming up. Great steal by Milwaukee, who said in the past, getting him from Atlanta. Like I said, did take kind of a step back from his top 5 MVP season from 2024, but still 17 home runs, 76 RBIs. Would like to see, his strikeouts did come down down from 139 to 120. So he is getting a little more discipline at the plate, but still would like to see that come down even more and maybe get the walks a little bit higher. But just, really, really solid catcher, can bring it offensively, can do it defensively as well. So William Contreras, he comes in for me at number 4.
Number 4 for me, I went with somebody that Steve just said for his is Will Smith. Will Smith, one thing I like about him, I mean, he could hit the 20 home run power, but he also can hit for average. And when a catcher can hit for average, that's an actual special thing. That's a very special thing. And not to mention, yeah, he's a 3-time All-Star, but he's a 3-time World Series champion by the time he was 30 years old.
That's crazy.
Don't know anybody other than Yogi Berra that might be a thing for. It's incredible. And he's been the starting catcher on this team for going on 8 years now. And he's a guy that plays a lot. I mean, he plays a lot. I mean, he plays over 100 games at least every season. You can count on him. I mean, last year was 110. I remember, I think I had him on my fantasy team. And but he's a guy that could have easily had Hunter Goodman's numbers if he wasn't surrounded with the talent he's surrounded by. He doesn't need to hit like that. They actually don't even need him to hit like that because of the talent he has around him. They need him to be a productive bat on the lower end of the lineup sometimes. Sometimes he's in the middle of the lineup. I've seen him bat near the top of the lineup sometimes. They need him to be a productive, solid bat, but they don't need him to hit 30, 40 home runs a year. They don't need to have him hit 190 to 100 RBIs a season. They need him to catch good games. That's his first and foremost task as being a Los Angeles Dodger. And was saying that, I mean, the fact that they ended up getting Kyle Tucker, Will Smith might get pushed further down the lineup. But one thing I love about Will Smith is he has these late season surges in his game where he kind of just goes stupid, absolutely stupid, and he just plays out of his mind. So I like what Will Smith brings, and he is potentially could be, if he retires a Dodger, they could retire his number just because it was a very important piece to them in all of that. I mean, yeah, his numbers aren't gaudy, but he's a guy that gets you decent enough numbers. I mean, very much. I mean, we're talking past guys. I mean, he is definitely could fit in the mold of like a 90s catcher because he doesn't have great size, but he has great skill sets. Very Gary Carter-esque for sure. So for that, Will Smith is my number 4.
Nice. Number 3 for me, I'm going to go with Shea Chandelier. No, I'm just kidding. Shea Langolier.
I always think that too when I see that fucking name, dude.
This is a guy who, there's not many bright spots in Oakland, but you're kind of getting a 3-headed monster here with Langolier, Nick Kurtz, and Wilson there. So you're building a nice core there for the Athletics. So just find a home. Coming off of this past season, 277 average, career high in home runs with 31, 72 RBIs. In 123 games played, he was able to he did strike out 103 times, so would still like to bring the strikeouts down a little bit, but it is down from 145 from the year before. You talk defensively, this guy has a career in 992 fielding percentage behind the plate, so it's very versatile, very good behind the plate, and can do it offensively too. So he's 28 years old, similar to Contreras there. So I like his trajectory. I think he's going to continue to get better, and we'll see what happens this coming year. But for me, Shea Langoliers comes in for me at number 3.
Great pick indeed. For me, I'm going to go with William Contreras for my number 3. I wanted to put him higher, but he didn't have an amazing season. He didn't have a bad season. I mean, 260, 76 ribs, and and 17 dingers in 566 plate appearances. But I think William Contreras is definitely one of the leaders of this young Milwaukee Brewers team. He's only 27 years old, and he's a guy that I think has the potential to do some special things if he's not relied upon so heavily, right? I really love this Milwaukee Brewers team, and I think this is a team that doesn't have to spend a lot of money because they have guys that actually are ballers, and they've already have paid their Christian Yelich's and those kind of guys, but they have good young guys who are there and who are coming up. So, but William Contreras is surprisingly a leader at 27 years old, and he's already a World Series winner. He won in 2021 with the Braves, and I think of William Contreras as a guy that he, at any given moment, he could get you that big home run or that big game-winning hit, or you can bag. I mean, he's so multifaceted with his game, not only behind the plate but at the plate when he's hitting, and that leads to him being a 2-time All-Star, 2-time Silver Slugger award winner. And he's not this giant guy. He's kind of a bulk. He's kind of almost built like Pudge, but he's a little taller than Pudge, but not by much. And he's kind of bulky, and he can be a power hitter if you need him to be. But that's kind of one of the reasons I really like him. I mean, 24, he played out of his mind, and he was really high in Steve in my list, and he's still high. But I wouldn't say last year was him just going down or regressing. I don't think that at all. I think, I mean, he played 150 games. I just think that, I don't know. I think he needs to not have so much swing and miss in his game, but I think there's a lot more good than bad coming from William Contreras. And I've always been high on him. So for that, he is my number 3 pick.
Love it. Number 2 for me, I'm going to go with the guy who Mike talked about earlier. Small sample size, but I'm buying in, and that's Hunter Goodman for Colorado. Coming off an All-Star Silver Slugger season this past year. I think it's the real deal. Michael talked about small sample size. He wants to see if he can bring it again, in consecutive years. But I'm going with what he did this past year, and this past year was a great year. 278 average, 31 home runs, 91 RBIs. Like Mike said, one of the lone bright spots here on the Rockies team. That's pretty much just a big pile of crap.
Yeah.
At least they got Hunter Goodman. I for everything that Michael said earlier, I just like what he does. Still very young. Can he do it this next year? We shall see. But I'm going on what he did this past year, and for me, that's why he comes in for number 2. And Hunter Goodman, he's my number 2 catcher.
Nice. Number 2 for me, I went with somebody Steve just talked about a couple picks ago, and that was Shea Langeliers.
Nice.
Also known as Shea Chandeliers. Like
Chandeliers.
Chandeliers. I just got to say, I'm sorry, Shea. We haven't talked about you a lot. I think...
No.
When we talked about catchers, your name didn't come up a whole hell of a lot, and we're sorry. I mean, I know I am. You're a guy that proved in the last 3 years you have over 20 home run power, and now you have 30 home run power, which I never seen coming. You can get, if you're placed in the right in that lineup, good, and if you stay healthy, you can definitely get over 80 RBIs in a season. And you're a guy that can also hit for average and get on base. This is something where a catcher we're going to talk about soon. I don't compare him to somebody like a Kyle Schwarber or a guy that we're going to talk about soon, because this guy, Shea, has proven to hit for power. You know what? And last year, he didn't strike out a lot, which he got over the 100 strikeout mark, but I didn't see a lot of swing and miss. I saw more contact. He was barreling up the ball really well. He was driving it to all different fields, and not just a left field as a right-handed hitter. I mean, the guy has shown the ability to really, really be a smart hitter, and what I'm seeing is a guy that perfects his game. And you could see that in every time, every season, he's coming up and you could tell he's tweaked something in his swing, and you could tell, he doesn't sell out for power, and he's doing things that make him not only better, but the team better, especially a team that is starting to find its stars, right? I mean, we always talk about Nick Kurtz till we're blue in the, just how great of a star this guy's going to turn into. Now we're talking about Shea Langeliers, who's been there for 2-3 years longer. So, yeah, I mean, Kurtz and Langeliers, the future looks bright for the Athletics. Las Vegas just needs to fall in love with them now.
Yeah, exactly.
For that, Shea is definitely my number 2. Yeah.
All right, and at number 1, I think we both agreed on this one.
Yeah, dude. I mean, come on.
You can't turn this guy down for being number 1. It's the best offensive season for a catcher I think that we've ever seen. That's the big dumper himself, Cal Raleigh. I mean, this is a guy who's coming off a runner-up for MVP. Only Aaron Judge outdid him there. 60 home runs, 125 RBIs. He's shown, in the last 2 years that he can hit over 100 RBIs in a season. Brought his average up from 220 all the way to 247. definitely want to see the strikeouts come down. I mean, this guy struck out 188 times in 159 games, so those strikeouts are going to be there. But the big thing is just what we talked about. Can he follow it up with another season like this past one? I don't know if he can eclipse what he did this past season, but I'm curious to see what he does going forward in this next year. But for right now, you can't deny he is the top catcher in baseball. So Cal Raleigh, he comes in for me at number 1.
Yeah, Big Dumper is coming for me at number 1 too. In all the years, he's coming up on his 6th season. He's 28 now. He's going to be 29. I don't want to say he was a late resurgence in his career because he did start at 24 years old, but he was a guy that took a little bit longer to develop, right? I mean, we were talking about Pudge Rodriguez earlier. He broke in the league at 19. Not very many catchers do that. That's such a high standard. Shea Langeliers, he broke in the league a little bit younger too. But then when you look at Kyle Raleigh, he came in a little late, but you see the numbers were always trending high, right? I mean, his first season, he hit 13 home runs. 13 RBIs in only 47 games. He didn't play a lot. Then he plays 119 games the season after. He goes, fuck that, 27 home runs, 63 RBIs with a 489 slugging percentage. And then he doubles that. He ends up 30 home runs, 75 RBIs, 19 hits, 306 OBP, and then the season before last, 100 RBIs, 34 home runs. I mean, here comes 30 home run power. And then he just went fucking nuts last year, 60 home runs. I'm sure he was drug tested more than any player in Major League Baseball. Yeah. And 125 RBIs. I'm very, very happy for him. Steve says strikes out a lot. Steve's right. He does strike out a lot. To me, he's Kyle Schwarber, who used to actually play catcher, but he's a lot like Kyle Schwarber in the terms of he hits for power, not a big hit for average kind of guy. He's not a table setter. He's a guy that brings runs in. That's just who he is. That's the difference, right? I mean, we're talking about Shea Langeliers. We're talking about people like Will Smith. These guys can get on bases a little bit more easily than Cal. Cal's a guy that one big hit could be the difference in the game. That's what makes him so stellar. But at the same time, he also can be a liability with the strikeouts, which I kind of hinted at earlier. Was that a flash in the pan? Will he have that kind of a season again? I don't know. It's really hard to have somebody come off a 60 home run season, which is the best, which breaks all catching records, but it's really hard to come up with that. If he hits 50 and 40 home runs, then we're going to be seeing something special because this could be his stretch. If he hits another 3, 4, 5 year stretch, it could be some of the best stretch of a catcher we've ever seen. He's my number 1.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, so Cal Raleigh, nice work, Big Dumper.
Unfortunate nickname. Yeah,
really.
It's funny as hell, but if teammates were calling me Big Dumper, I'd be like, dude, come on.
Please don't call me the Dumper.
Yeah. Even if you try to translate it into baseball terms, it's still dumping. People think of
it's still
think of this
dumping.
Guy taking huge fucking dumps. So.
Oh, well, it's that time again. It's our monthly edition of the Hobby Huddle, so stay tuned. We got Tyler, aka T-Pott, with our sponsors, Market Movers, and we'll talk some cards here. So enjoy that. All right, yeah. Ready to ride the next big hobby wave? Market Movers puts the entire sport card and TCG market right in your hands. With pricing on over 7 million cards powered by real sales data from every major marketplace, including eBay, Fanatics Collect, Golden, Heritage, and more. Track your collection on mobile or desktop and instantly see value and P&L by sport, year, player, set, or grade. Compare any cards side by side, monitor live price swings to spot trends early, uncover underpriced deals, and set custom alerts so you never miss a move. With Market Movers, you turn market data into smarter buys, bigger profits, and a stronger collection. Sign up today and try it risk-free for 14 days and get 20% off for life with promo code GONE20 at marketmoversapp.com. And a special bonus, in February, we're giving away a hobby box of 2025 Topps Heritage High Number. To enter, sign up using promo code GONE20. We'll compile entries from December through the beginning of February and announce the winner during our February Hobby Huddle segment. Market Movers. Make every card count. Welcome to another segment of the Hobby Huddle. With us today from Market Movers, we have Tyler, aka T-Pott. What's going on, Tyler?
Hey guys, good to be back. Happy to see you.
Yeah,
It's good to see you. Been a bit since we met, with Christmas and New Year's and all that. Let's take a look at just some of the trends. I know we've had some latest movements between Arenado and his trade and Bregman going to the Cubs. I thought that'd just be a couple of good players to look at what kind of trends they've been, going towards the last year or so. What do you have on that?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me kind of just give a high level overview of what's been going on in the baseball card world.
Yeah.
And then we'll look at some of those specific players. So I mentioned this last time for those who haven't seen Market Movers before or didn't see last month. We track these indexes that are comprised of like the most iconic cards from different eras. So this is our baseball index from 21 to 23. And just different years. We're actually in the process of putting a 24-25 together. And we've got our MLB Top 100 from last year. We'll update that when it's updated. So, but just kind of overall, baseball, much to my surprise, last 30 days, all these indexes collectively up. Usually December is still a down month, and you don't start to see any real life or movement into baseball cards until we head into like early February. And it's spoiling all of my plans for some of the players I was hoping to catch at a dip because very few of them have actually gone down. So that's my strategy is not working out. You just when you think you know how things are going because you have access to the data from years before, the market goes and rises up. Yeah. So so just kind of at a high level, just good, healthy, kind of flat on a couple of them and slightly up collectively on several of these. And we're looking across, 125 cards. So that's a total change. Some of those cards certainly seeing, dips depending. But if we go and we look at Arenado and Bregman, and just for kicks, let me throw Devers on here too, because there's some terrible comedy, tragic comedy happening here with and I could blow this up in size a little bit too, with kind of what played out for Red Sox fans who are now collectively raging, and rightly so, on social media and all over. So this is the last year price movements. Really interesting to see Devers just take a massive hit. So obviously they got fed up with him or whatever happened there and shipped out what would have otherwise been a very long-term contract for a Hall of Fame caliber slugger. His defense was a different story, but so they send him out to the Giants and say, hey, we're going to hitch our wagon to this guy Bregman, who has championship caliber in his past. And then irony of ironies, Bregman says, yeah, I don't know about that, and obviously signs with the Cubs.
Insane.
So Bregman over the last year up 14%. If we kind of zoom in over the last 30 days, usually you don't see huge price swings in the offseason, which is why these all look relatively flat. Arenado maybe already, I think it's too soon. The news just really came out, but it'll be interesting to see. I don't know how much him going to the Diamondbacks. I mean, I guess they certainly look like more of contenders than St. Louis has recently, but kind of funny to see, that Goldschmidt went up to St. Louis and now, Arenado's going down to the D-backs. But we'll keep an eye on this over the next month or so and see if anybody starts to show more interest in either of these guys. I know Cubs fans, generally speaking, that I've talked to are excited about Bregman.
Oh, I bet. I mean, now they got their the top two picks. What was the Bregman's draft again, Mike? Because Swanson went 1 and Bregman went 2, which is actually why he chose number 2 as his number.
Yeah,
I found that out a couple days ago. So now they got the top 2 picks from that particular draft. So
yeah, that was huge.
Cubs are looking good. With some of their trades that they've made, picking up that pitcher from the Marlins. So the Cubs are
they had to do something. I mean, they lost Kyle Tucker, so I'm sure their fans would be pretty pissed if they didn't do anything. But it's kind of weird too because they're going to trade Nico Horner. It looks like to the Giants.
Yeah.
Oh, is that? I was just going to bring up Horner because I saw a guy on Instagram talking about how he suspected Horner would be a trade target because the owner's not going to want to pay the luxury tax.
Right. It's looking like he might
interesting.
Move. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I think between Tucker and Bregman, I don't know how you guys feel, but I think the Cubs kind of made the right call there. Just third base, a more premium position, a Gold Glove, defenseman, and obviously he can hit too. So overall seemed like the right play, but I think Cubs fans agree. We'll see. Generally, when I look at these two guys' markets, Tucker's never had a market, even when he was like at his peak. It just like people weren't super interested in him. And then, I thought maybe once some of the other guys, Bregman or Correa or others were like going to be on their way out with Houston, that maybe Tucker would have like become the guy, and he just like never did, and then went to the Cubs and had a hot start and then fizzled. Devers, when I talk about Devers with my baseball card buddies, he's like hotly debated amongst us. Vladdy's another guy that kind of falls into that territory where some people are like, we believe in him, put some respect on his name with his cards, but then like other people are just like, no, not interested.
Right.
So he's kind of hovers in that like middling territory. Arenado's a guy, obviously, like platinum glove, like just all-time defender and really good, solid offensive numbers. I don't know what his career WAR is at. I was going to look that up quick. I always love to look at there's B WAR for his career. Okay, it's 50, just under 58.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's had a very, very solid career, but he kind of like he hasn't quite broken through. I don't know that he can on that like true like Hall of Fame within the sports card hobby, within the baseball card hobby. Some people love him. Some Rockies fans love him. Maybe some Cardinals fans, and then those maybe who like me just appreciate really good defense. Kind of appreciate or admire him, but his stuff in terms of like long-term staying power, I think his most iconic Bowman Chrome autos, like the very best ones, will be pretty desirable long-term. But then like everything else, when you're not in that top upper echelon, might be subject to quite a bit of volatility as like the latter half of his career widens down and he retires.
Yeah, he has kind of fizzled out in regards to playing. But Mike, I know you've always been a big Arenado guy. He's always been near the top of your list in regards to collecting, right up there with Mookie Betts.
Yeah, I mean, we always knew, him coming from Colorado, the numbers were pretty inflated playing at Coors Field. So, he had to come back to down to reality with the Cardinals. But, I feel like he's still a solid third baseman. I think his career trajectory is a lot like Evan Longoria's, where, he'll be a quality bat the older he gets, but it's not going to be the guy that's going to consistently drive in runs, get you 80 RBIs, 90 RBIs a season. But I'm kind of biased because I've always been a big Arenado fan, but I still think fans like him. And, I always see a lot of variations of different cards. There was this one up recently that is actually going for, I think it's going for like a little over $14 on average. And it's his, what is it? The high authority or the high authority. I can't remember exactly what it was. High something like that. But I noticed a lot of with his Chrome Series 2. I mean, a lot of his stuff is pretty consistent for the most part.
Yeah.
It's not ringing a bell. I was hoping to find a picture of it or something, but I'm not sure which one you're referring to. But there are people who collect him. He's only, I'm going to say only, he's almost 35. I feel like he's a guy who like unfortunately regressed a little sooner than we would have hoped or thought. I mean, he had that incredible second season in 2022 where it was MVP3 with the Cardinals and an 8 WAR, and the last 3 years he's just been like he was 2 WAR, 2.5 down to 1.3 last year. You like to hope that you could see that not start to happen until guys are like 37, 38, 39. So it'll be interesting to see how that affects his Hall of Fame candidacy, once that finally rolls around.
I mean, the biggest thing is the Golden Gloves he has. The Gold Gloves he has are just what kind of leads him. But I mean, I don't think he's going to be. What's that?
How he started his career? Didn't he get like 10 straight or something to start?
He did. Yeah. And he's still really good at third base, but the bats just doesn't. The bat's dipping dramatically. I mean, he's not going to be like, I was looking today, like Manny Machado. And Manny Machado is, to me, I mean, he's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. I think by the end of his career, he'll probably play till he's 40. And I think he'll be there with the 3,000 hits and some of the 1,500 RBIs, those benchmarks you get. Because I was looking at the trajectory of a lot of third basemen, because Steve, we're going into our Then and Now series where we pick a lot of kind of matchup third base or fielders and players with today. And Manny Machado is still top guy, top 5 in the league, in my opinion, still.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, Machado's a heck of a talent all around. His card market tends to be really interesting because a lot of people still sort of carry that stigma that they don't like, that he's kind of a jerk, or they don't like him, or he's cocky, or what. He's very polarizing. He has some serious super collectors who are really passionate about his stuff and they really like him, and then others are kind of like, nah, I don't really like him. So I think Machado might, if it weren't for Arenado, might have had a few more Gold Gloves too, once he had moved over to the NL, to the Padres. But Arenado was kind of there in front of him, blocking the way.
Speaking of Machado, a card or a player that I want to know who, if he's dipped or not, and this is kind of like off topic, but is Fernando Tatis. How has his market been? Because he was so hot coming out, and then the injuries and the steroid suspension, and he kind of, I'm not saying he flatlined because he's still putting up good numbers, but not the video game numbers. Where's his market now?
Yeah, over the last year, Tatis is down 6%.
Okay.
Jeez.
And last 3 months since really the season ended, I guess he's bounced back slightly, 6%. Now, of course, I think I always say this. This is on 361 cards that we've checked that have sold, and so some of those naturally are going to be up and some are going to be down. It's not like every card is just wholesale up 6%. There's always volatility, but yeah, when he had the PED thing, I really thought, I was kind of the opinion that a lot of people, younger generation, who would be like the ones ultimately like potentially carrying his cards for the next 30, 40 years, wouldn't really care that much.
Yeah.
But I do hear people reference it quite a bit. It tends to be more like millennial, Gen Z type, but like, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how that stigma hangs with him for a while, but he's a guy. I mean, he's like, when he's on and healthy and available, he's right up there with the top talent in the league. I think once you take Ohtani and Judge, then you get into that territory of like Tatis, Soto, Acuna.
Yes.
And maybe throw Machado and a couple others into that conversation, Bryce Harper when he's hot. But yeah, he's an interesting one, also very polarizing. And the Padres had the Dodgers 2 years ago. They had them. That series was over.
Did.
Yeah.
It was.
And they just choked it away. How the scripts of history change.
What are your thoughts, Tyler, on that? Because I know Steve and I, we're pretty vocal about how we talk about players who've taken PEDs, and we're roughly all around the same age. When you were collecting, we collected during the steroid era. I mean, a lot of the best players are in the steroid era. Okay, we'll take, for instance, what are your thoughts on, say, like Barry Bonds? I mean, do you value his card as much as you did probably when you were younger, or are you kind of like, nah? I mean, where do you stand on that?
I am squarely in the camp of Barry Bonds should be in the Hall of Fame and should have very expensive cards. Barry Bonds is the greatest baseball player of all time, and I don't really think it's open for debate. Everything about his career are just video game numbers that don't even seem real. And like for younger people who, are just getting into baseball maybe over the last decade, like there was an Instagram channel I came across like 3 years ago that was like constantly running these reels. I can't for the life of me find it now, but it was like, it's time for another round of Barry Bonds stats that seem fake but are real.
Right.
And it's like, think about like chop off his entire career of the steroid years, and he's still better than almost anybody ever. Like it's ridiculous. His numbers are so crazy. Having more like intentional base on balls than like 12 different teams did total walks during a season. Like just so many things. And you hear him break down how his plate approach and how he would turn on balls and choke up and still get power and all these. It's unbelievable, to the point where you get frustrated that obviously the steroids were involved. I just look at it, that era, as it's not to condone it, but maybe everyone wasn't doing it, but a lot of people were doing it. And not to like get too scandalous or sensational or TMZ, but like there are a number of people who have come out and have said they have like that they know for a fact that Griffey was doping too.
Wow.
But he never got busted. Like people with inside, like who knows? But the point is, a lot of people were doing it, for like just about everybody. If they were like, yeah, I got to get the power, like everybody's doing it. So I see it as sort of an era. It's the steroid era, just like we had the dead ball era and all kinds of different
Yes.
eras. It's a dynamic. You need to
Yeah.
take it into consideration. Okay, if you're going to look at the dead ball era and say, well, there's a reason there was no power and blah, blah, blah. Well, then look at the steroid era and like do some kind of stat mitigation or something, maybe not formally, but I just think like all of those guys, I wouldn't say like Major League Baseball should encourage and bring it back, but we do know that supplements and workout, regimens and all kinds of things have gotten so crazy now. There's always going to be some kind of competitive edge, and I just think it's time to let it go. We saw Pete Rose pass away, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, now he's going to be,
after he passed,
eligible.
Yeah, I always felt, and because I was never for PEDs, but I do understand when it came. I mean, when we had the strike in the early '90s, and after that, contracts looked a lot different. Players were getting paid even more than they were ever before. So there was that crazy amount of pressure to not only perform, but perform well and to get that bag. And then you started seeing people like Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire, and those numbers just soar, and they were getting paid. And you kind of understand the players were on a different level then because they wanted that bag for sure. But when you look at steroids too, I mean, okay, Mark McGwire, I believe he took steroids the majority of his career. It didn't make him faster, right? It didn't give him a better arm, right? It didn't give him incredible, didn't give him like a certain amount of like how he was able to see the ball, hit the ball, but it affected players differently. And so there is an argument for PEDs in the Hall of Fame. But I do agree. Like, if it is in the Hall of Fame, there has to be something to show that they did do that. I just don't know what.
Yeah,
like a special wing,
something.
Steroid wing. Yeah,
something. Yeah. I mean, I think you look at Bonds, and then the other one who kind of comes to mind for me is Clemens, and like
big time.
Clemens. You can debate all day where he fits on the all-time list. You could have him probably as high as 3 and as low as 10, but like no lower. And he's I just think a lot of guys were doing it. Not to condone it, not saying we should bring it back or make, juicing great again or anything crazy, but just acknowledge that it was a dynamic. And look, Major League Baseball didn't do enough to detect it and shut it down. They tolerated it. It's good for ratings.
It was. Well, that was it especially coming off the strike. They needed something to get themselves back, into the fans' good graces. And there was that home run race in '98.
Absolutely.
Sosa and McGwire, and it helped bring the fans back to the game. Cal Ripken did his thing with the Iron Man streak, but people want to see those bombs, and baseball kind of turned a blind eye to it just to try and get the fans back in it after the strike.
Yeah. I do have Major League Baseball has been constantly changing, tweaking rules and different protocols and things, and we get lots of different stuff. Number of pickoff attempts, just runner on second in the regular season, like lots of stuff. One thing I would like to see them do is put some kind of consequence in place to deter teams from just intentionally walking people. Especially if only maybe even in the playoffs. So they obviously they don't have the like runner on second and extra innings in the playoffs. Like it's pure baseball in a certain sense from what it used to be. And it's so terrible when you get into these scenarios where like the top slugger in a late game scenario that has a chance to create a historic moment, a tops now card moment, doesn't get that chance because it's like, well, we're just going to walk you and then see if the guy behind you can do this. So, in some games, whether it's Judge, Ohtani, or any number of others, they're getting walked multiple times. I guess it couldn't necessarily be, it would just have to be like some consequence that is, if a player has already been walked in the game and it's after the 8th inning or something, I don't know, I want to make it overly convoluted. I'm just kind of off the cuff, but instead of him going to first, he goes to second or something, there's like an extra penalty. You're not going to do it. Like you're going to make sure you like throw him a pitch or you do something because this is going to like really bite you. Maybe it's only in extra inning scenarios. Like instead of starting with a runner on second, we're just going to say if you walk somebody, they go to second. Like throw pitches. Something to make it a little bit more dynamic. Now I know that makes like the pitching stats all super wonky about like earned runs and how would they calculate that, but
Right.
I just personally hate that, and I know a lot of people do. It's even if it's not the team that I'm like rooting for and I have no vested interest, it's like you just want to see this person get a chance to hit a pitch, and I hate just put him on first, put him on first. We're not going to give you that chance.
Yeah, you're taking the clutch moments right out of the best player's hands, and then you're believing it to somebody who, let's get Jimenez in there. It's like shit. You know what I mean? Like somebody who that you don't want to see in those moments. Yeah, I get it. I totally get it. And baseball evolves all the time, and I think that's the great thing about baseball. I mean, it's constantly evolving. So I could see from the pitch clock to what it could do now with challenges and with the pitch comms and stuff. Yeah, I would be on board for something like that for sure when it comes to intentional walk. Yeah.
It could be some weird thing where it's like if you walk this player and then in the extra innings, the next guy up starts with one ball or two balls or something. I don't know. Like, just how do you make that effective? Lots of ideas, I'm sure. And I'm sure people would be listening and be like, this guy's an idiot, but maybe somebody else agrees too.
Yeah, I mean, you could always, there's always ways to change things. I mean, look at what we had with the designated hitter. There was one league for the longest time. It was a pitcher, and it was never a DH. And how many times where it was like, oh, this is the easy out. The last play of the game's down to, some pitcher out there. It's like, oh, really? Tom Glavine's batting? Come on, like, no.
He had a few homers.
Yeah.
He did. Yeah, that's true.
But it's just, and then finally it's okay, universal DH. It's like, okay, that's the way it should be. So I'm all for the evolution of the game for sure. That's what makes baseball great.
Yeah, I agree. Just one side question for me in regards to like tracking. We talked with a collector a couple of weeks ago, and we talked about the future of collecting and the future of cards. What's your thoughts on the future of tracking, let's say, digital cards? Do you think that's something on the horizon here?
It's such a good question. I just had this conversation with somebody who works for a digital card company called Candy.io, which is kind of a gamified like digital card space. So it's not a true collectible, like pure collectible.
Yeah.
He had an interesting opinion about it. I would have thought of digital as like a like something younger people would have kind of gravitated toward, and maybe like a logical transition of people from physical cards to digital. But he thought of like digital as a gateway to physical. I think it could go both ways. It's an interesting overlap. I don't know what that Venn diagram looks like. I do know that when it comes to games like NBA 2K and other things where you like unlock cards and like people like spend big time money on that type of stuff to like build up these profiles. So the gamification aspect of it makes it interesting. The one big benefit of digital, there's a few benefits I think of digital cards, and I don't own any. I don't think, I won't say I'd never get into it, but like right now I just have too much interest in physical. But some benefits are like you can do some really cool things with digital that you can't do with physical, like different effects, different animations. You can like embed or link video moments. You can do a lot more that with a digital asset than you can physical. You can tie it to the blockchain. You can make the provenance, like traceability of the item, much stronger. Much more difficult to fake an asset. Easy to transfer. It's not getting lost in the mail and damaged or stolen or busted up or whatever. There's less friction, lower cost, lower fees. A lot of things really to like about it. And then it's not taking up any storage. It's very easy to like look at your collection. And in that same regard, shameless plug, but I'll just kind of show your audience. There's Market Movers has this entire collection tool where you can track your physical assets. And theoretically, you could actually track digital cards you have in here too. Maybe not with the same like price attribution, but all the elements are there. But this is a really cool way. I just ripped a Pokemon box with my boys this last weekend, so I was adding some of those in. But you can kind of see I collect a lot of different stuff. I've got everything from baseball, basketball, football. I actually just recently like reset my whole collection because I had a lot of cards in there that I had sold over the years and forgotten to like mark as sold. So I kind of just was like, I'm going to reset. But yeah, you can filter by sport, and then I can kind of click into to baseball. My guy McGonigal, like he was one of the guys I was hoping to buy at the dip, and he just hasn't gone down. He's only gone up since the season ended. But I've only got this is a very small subsection of my baseball collection, just random cards. I started going through the shelves in my office at home and just slowly putting them in here. So that's why you don't see everything, loaded. But yeah, it's a really cool way to sort of visualize your entire collection digitally and be able to show, cards off if you've got images of them, or even if you're just using like a stock image from one of our data sources.
Yeah, about the for people watching this right now and can see you scrolling, now those cards, are those pictures within the system of Market Movers, or is that something that you uploaded? Like that's your card you're looking at right now?
Yeah, so what will happen is we track like 6.4 million cards right now, like with pricing every day. And so you start out, and if I type in McGonigal and I find one of his cards on here, we have stock images for those. So by default, it'll give you a picture of this. And then if you want to change and upload, you can do that. You can change the image if you have your own, or you want to have your PSA cert number on there or whatever. You can do that. And then same thing if you come in here, if you wind up adding like let's say I don't know why I always go to this guy Dino Raja. We don't have like
great player,
any of his cards.
Wow.
Yeah, basketball Hall of Famer, believe it or not. Because of his international. But like, let's say you wanted to add this card to your collection. It's not in our tracked database yet. It will be eventually, but it's going to kind of pick up the different details. And then this is the atomic refractor, so I'll select that, and I would go next, and it just like automatically grabbed that photo for me. And then you could, once again, you could change that. So this kind of gives you the ability to do like really quick price checks on it. All I would have to do here is do like best atomic 1997, and then it saves it. And so this is like what I used to do in a spreadsheet before we ever built Market Movers. I guess it was 96, my bad. So I could like add this to my collection and hit done. And now going forward, anytime I want to check the price on it, even though we don't track it, I just click this little button and it'll pull up in all the comps like right away. So you can just, I could come in here and go, oh, use price on this. Okay, price is updated, save. And I just kind of go from there. So I probably do have this card, but I'm still going to delete it. But yeah, it's the collection tools, it's really, really useful. Market Movers on the mobile app is actually free to use in a limited capacity for comping. And then if you want to start tracking your collection and using all these other really cool features, we have different subscription tiers that you can use. And you guys have a code for that too.
Yes. We do. We have a code GONE20, and it's 20% off the lifetime of your membership there. So that's very, very useful. And I've been using, since we've last talked, just been adding my collection a little bit at a time. It's kind of a big one, and just to see big picture on it, it's kind of eye-opening to me to be like, oof, I didn't realize I had that much, cards are really worth that much. So it's cool just to see the big picture there. I like it a lot.
Yeah, it's super valuable to have all of that totaled up. Because if you're the type of person who's got like a certain hobby budget, or you just sort of pick things up here and there, it's like anything. It's like just your basic personal budgeting where you're like, oh, I didn't realize I had 42 subscriptions for $1,000 a month.
Yeah.
But that you buy this one, it's $10, $15, $100, whatever territory you're playing in. If you take that, it takes like 15 seconds to add the card to your collection. Now I've gotten into the habit, if I buy something on eBay or in the store at Cards HQ, I just stick it in my collection right away, and then boom, it's there. Now it's giving me that big picture value to where I can go in there and be like, holy cow, I have a lot in here. Do I still want all these cards? Should I consolidate? Right. Should I sell some of these? And I know my wife always appreciates it when I but do a big sell off, and I'll keep half of it into my hobby budget and put half of it back into the house or buy her a dress or something.
Yeah, for sure.
So, but should we take a peek at the other price move? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. No. Let's do what you want. You want to take a peek at the.
I was just going to pull up kind of the broader landscape, some bigger price move. That's the wrong one. That's the wrong one. Maybe I went to the wrong tab. Here we go. So I'm looking at baseball, like all these kind of relevant years, graded cards only. and like some minimum thresholds for sales and stuff, just to kind of narrow it down to what's relevant. So I don't know, kind of surprises me, but over the last month, I guess Rocky's the hottest, up 14%.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Jason
So that's
Dominguez,
interesting
okay.
to see. So people are getting excited about the Yankees prospects, or I guess
Yeah.
he's not really a prospect anymore, but
Still like an Adley Rushman, huh? All right.
I guess people are getting excited about Adley with the additional offensive pieces coming
Yeah.
in with the polar bear. I don't know. Well, here,
Okay.
look, I thought McGonagall would be down 10 to 15% this time of the year, and I would be like, "Yep,
Sure.
gonna buy him,
Get
gonna
some
buy him." And
steals. Yep.
he and Connor Griffin both up 10%, which is breaking
Jeez.
my, but you got Bazana, you got Trout. I mean, this is the territory. Like again, you start kind of looking at this when it's the off season. You don't see the big swings. No pun intended. But when you're in season on a 30-day trajectory, I think there was a period last year where Pete Crow Armstrong was up like 69% in a month.
We talked about that last time.
People go crazy.
Yeah,
So,
and and then his market was kind of all over after that, or not like over, but like it was up
It's
and
like
it
a
was
roller
down,
coaster.
and yeah.
And I actually would have thought Roman Anthony would be up a little bit more. I don't know where Nick Kurtz is. Let's take a look at Nick Kurtz, because I've been hearing his name a lot from people. This surprises me.
Yeah,
because I feel like a lot of people are really talking about him right now. I'm pretty high on him personally. So,
but it's certain cards with him I've noticed. I'm always on the Whatnot app and going into auctions, and I notice people want the Topps black and white are out right now, and they want his Topps black and white, which is his Topps black and white is going up, and people want it. And there's other ones too where there's just not a big seller. Like I don't know if his chrome is going for much. I don't know. I've seen him in Bowman that it wasn't a lot, but it's just certain cards they really want. I don't know what makes certain cards more valuable than others when it comes to like somebody like Nick Kurtz. I don't get it.
The Bowman first is always hot. There are more iconic sets that tend to be like the ones that get transacted in the speculation markets, so to speak. Not to make it sound overly stock markety, but like this is definitely a liquid card that people would say, okay, let me buy one of these and speculate. And they look for stuff that has daily sales trends. Sometimes multiple sales happening. This one has 131 sales in the last 6 months, last 180 days, and people like that because it gives them price confidence. They know they can get in and out of it right away. But even in spite of that, you still see like dips depending on marketplace or time of day or when auction, fixed price, all this stuff can affect it. Maybe his Bowman Chrome Auto is a better example, but just even that, like interesting. Not, I mean, there was this weird random sale here, who knows, but I guess this is a recent trend over the last 30 days. No, it's kind of flat. Overall, the sales on this one obviously look like a positive trend. So I think there's a lot of buzz around him. It'll be really interesting to see how he comes out of the gate in the first month, because I think that'll have a lot of impact on kind of where his cards go for the season.
And it's always the rookies, the young players get they're right away. People want them until they're kind of flat, until it kind of plateaus out where it's like, okay, you can kind of see where this guy's going to go. Like right now, like what did we talk about the last time you were on, Jack Caglione, and where his market's at? And we talked about like McGonagall and Connor Griffin and some of those, and it's going to be interesting. I mean, every year there's those rookies that explode, and then the second or third year, that's when you see the real kind of value of where they might be according to, how they are on the field, obviously. But
Acuna.
Yeah.
Interesting to see Acuna on there. I think he might have him. I don't know. Maybe it's wishful thinking. I just want to hope he comes back and has a big year.
I hope so.
Because he's important to
I have a lot of cards, a lot of Acuna cards, because he was one of my favorites, a couple of years ago.
So
I really hope, for the sake of my collection, that he bounces back.
Anthony Volpe.
I will show you guys. I'll show you guys a card that I have on the way to my house that I purchased on eBay that is in a. It's a little more expensive than what I usually dabble in. I consolidated some stuff to make a move for this, but this Riley Green Dynasty RPA rookie patch auto. This is like the best patch segment I've seen on one of these. It's just got that classic, portrait image. Cool. His auto,
his auto's
number
always
205.
Terrible.
His auto's so goofy, and it's different than his Bowman auto. I don't know if you know that, but
I didn't know that.
I'll pull up he's got a different auto on his Bowman Firsts, and then he changed it to whatever the heck that is. But let's see if I can find one here. So yeah, his old auto. This is his Bowman auto.
Yeah, that's the one that because he was with the Whitecaps, obviously, and I'm in Grand Rapids, so I got balls signed. One I got one for Mike, and then one for myself when he was there with the Whitecaps, and that's the signature that we got on that. So he's changed it up a little bit.
Which I mean, when you see the stacks of stuff that these guys get sent to sign, it's
speed.
Yep.
At least this is still like. I mean, I don't know how that's an RG, I guess, but
I see Nick Castellano. I saw his he, at first he used to be all like, I'm gonna spell it out, and now he's just like, shit, I'm just gonna throw whatever on there.
Like even the one I got his autograph when he was with the Whitecaps, and it was he spelled it out for the most part, and then by the time he hit that big leagues, and it's like, F it,
Would you be offended if I put an X on it?
Yeah.
This one's like a meme, and there's actually one of these where it's just literally a straight line and nothing else. But Cam Reddish, I did a video one time kind of talking about like cards that are stupid, and one of them was ones with like bad autos, and some of these athletes just.
And Mike, you mentioned an X. If you look up Xavier Tillman, all his autograph is an X. Michigan State star Xavier Tillman, it's just an X.
Yeah, that's it too.
I think I just said
that. Yeah.
At least he has an excuse to do it, though. It's like, okay, it works with your name.
Yeah.
All right. Well, he did.
He did. He put a little bit more on that one. Okay.
Put more on that one. So maybe it just depends on the card or how he's feeling for the day.
Yeah.
I think Patrick Mahomes has an ugly autograph too.
Yeah, Mahomes isn't great. You got to appreciate, like. What happened to guys like Mariano Rivera? Like his auto is just absolutely. Griffey's got a good auto.
Griffey's got a good
Dennis Eckersley.
Look at that. That's beautiful.
All these all-time guys. Pride of autograph. Just.
Oh my God! See, that's the stand. That should be the standard right there.
Yeah.
Christ, that's like.
I say this as someone with a completely terrible signature, but
mine's the worst. I should be a doctor. It's pretty bad.
I've owned 8 houses, so I've signed enough mortgages that I was like, this has got to go faster.
This is it.
So,
Oh boy!
And it's not because I'm a savvy real estate investor; it's because I'm a maniac and I move too much. One other thing I wanted to show is we're getting into Top Series 1 territory soon.
We are. I think
pitchers and catchers reporting soon in a few weeks, and that means Series 1 and the opening day are right around the corner. And so this came out on X, and just some basic information about the different formats here. Jumbo is losing a relic. You're getting one less guaranteed hit and a $10 price increase this year from last year. Hobby up $10. No other changes that we've seen. We don't have the pack odds yet, I don't believe. So those may be more inflated. I would expect they will be. And then we got some shrinkflation with megas and blasters getting 2 less packs and 1 less pack here than last year. So fewer cards and in the box, so just a higher cost per card as we tend to look at it. But it's been really rough with sealed product the last few years. The hit rates are not particularly good. The value proposition's tough. I still jump into some occasional like Tigers team breaks and things like that. But it's been a while since I bought a personal like hobby box for myself to rip because it's been a little bit tough.
Yeah.
No, yeah, Michael and I would do that when he was living down here on the lower part of the state, where we'd get a hobby box and split it, and if whoever paid for the hobby box would get the hit, and it seemed like every time that I would pay for it, I'd only get like a relic or something, and then the times that Michael would pay, I think one time he got like a Ricky Henderson numbered to 5. It was like an auto relic,
which never happened. Yeah.
Yeah, we did a Stadium Club rip a few years ago with Sports Card Investor. Jeff bought us some boxes to rip as employees, and the gal across, I think we each got 2 packs, and the gal across from me, my counterpart Kelly, if I remember correctly, she hit like a green J-Rod auto, like rookie auto to 99, which are all on card in Stadium Club, and then she also hit like a red refractor to 5. like into her 2-packs, and I got like nobody else got anything. She got the 2-packs. It's like, oh my gosh, you made out like a bandit. So yeah.
But like you
we
said,
did hit the
hit rates aren't always there. Like you're not getting the kind of autos you want out of every box, which is like,
Yeah.
No,
I've resorted to only opening product now with my boys because they have like insane luck. I don't. But somehow they got some kind of gene. So we did hit the big chase card in this box of Pokemon that we ripped.
Yeah.
This is like the toughest card or one of the top 2 chase cards in the set. So my son, I told him I was showing him market movers before we opened it and kind of the cards to chase, and then he was like looking and he's just going, "It's a Charizard," and I'm like, "Yeah, right. It's not." He's like, "No, it is." And then he turned it around. I was like, "Whoa!" Okay. So we hit the big one there, but it's always fun.
That's cool. Yeah, they got some serious luck. I rarely ever get luck when it comes to ripping. So
yeah,
seems like Michael gets more luck than I do.
A little bit.
But with ripping, we got a nice giveaway that we're kicking off here. Like we're partnering with the All, and you're gonna give away a box of 2025 Topps Heritage High Number. So
that's
for you folks, on go to the site, markmoversapp.com, and use our promo code GONE20 for that 20% off your lifetime of the membership. And if you do that, you'll be entered into the drawing. And I think we're taking the tallies from December up through the beginning of February. And then when you and I and Michael and we all chat again next month, we'll announce a winner. And it's kind of cool to give that hobby box away.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. Chase those real one autos. Those are some of my favorites. I love them.
Man.
So.
I love those.
Man.
Very cool.
Well, I know it was always a good time talking with you here, T-Pott. You always bring a lot. Love you folks there at Market Movers. And let's do this again next month. Look forward to chatting again.
Yep. Sounds great.
All right, guys.
All right. See you guys.
See ya.
Well, that just happened. The T-Pott again.
T-Pott. He's always so much fun. I like talking with Tyler.
Yeah. I mean, you could tell he talks. I mean, he has his own podcast on Market Movers, and which he explained, and he's a guy that is very comfortable in front of the camera and in front of a mic. He has a good voice for it. And one thing I love about talking with him, and we haven't even talked to his partner, Nicholas Green, yet, which that's probably going to come, I think, pretty soon. But T-Pott, it's great talking with him. I love that we're all Tigers fans, so we have the same kind of heartbreak. We're always talking about we love and hate with the Tigers.
So true.
Makes it so much easier.
It is, yeah, I completely agree. Well, with that, shall we get the candles out and celebrate a birthday?
Fucking do it.
All right. Well, looking online for this guy, one of my favorite cards of him. I love those 85 tops in general, but his 1985 tops traded rookie card number 43T. That's none other than Ozzie Guillen.
Yes.
Like I told you last week, January is a very depressing month. Not many Hall of Famers are born in January, so had to go with a non-Hall of Famer, although he is a Venezuelan Hall of Famer.
Yes.
I'd say happy birthday to White Sox great and Venezuelan Hall of Famer Ozzie Guillen, born on January the 20th of 1964. 264 career batting average, 28 home runs, 619 runs batted in. Obviously, he was manager of the White Sox, helped break the curse there. 747 career managerial victories with a .513 winning percentage. As a player, he played for the White Sox from 85 to 97. Then he went to the Orioles, bounced to the Braves, then finished his career with the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. And then as a manager, he managed the White Sox from 2004 to 2011 and was only with the Miami Marlins for the 2012 season. He's a 3-time All-Star, 2-time World Series champion. Both those were on the coaching level. He was a coach with the Marlins in 2003 and then obviously broke the curse with the White Sox in 2005. He's the AL Rookie of the Year in 1985, Gold Glove Award winner in 1990, and the AL Manager of the Year in 2005. Who was inducted in the Venezuelan Hall of Fame in 2011. And a little trivia on Ozzie is in 2005, Guillen became the first Latino manager in Major League history to win a World Series when he captained the Chicago White Sox to their first championship in 88 years. There we go. Still surprised he hasn't gotten a job after.
Yeah, baseball kind of forgot about Ozzie Guillen.
Yep.
It's really sad because, he shouldn't be defined by what he said. I mean, a lot of people punish people for things that they say when we should be looking at what they've done on the field. Right? I mean, Curt Schilling's not in the Hall of Fame just because he's got a big mouth, you know.
Yep. Yeah. Yep.
But let's look at what they do on the field. I'm not saying everybody should be excused from that, but again, it's sad. Baseball has forgot about him. I mean, you just said it with when you were breaking down. He got him out of their curse, right?
Yep.
And he used to play for him in one of the best gloves ever at shortstop. And yeah, just really sad indeed. I mean, I kind of hope he does get another job. I don't think he will, but I at least get him in the room. You know what I mean? Just because I do think he brings something he gets players fired up, and I think
he does.
I don't think Chicago's been the same since.
Nope, I completely agree with that. So yeah, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, you son of a bitch.
There we go.
Well, that's a fucking show.
Good show, man. Good show.
Next week, we have another. We have another.
Base?
Yeah. Well, yep. Well, then and now series. We're going to first base. Yep. And then after that, and there's some good first basemen in the 90s. I mean, first baseman is hard, right? I mean, we're talking PEDs, so it's really clenching the teeth when we get into the even outfield and Barry Bonds and all that. I mean, that's really tough. But and then next week we are having a guest, Paul Campione, Paulie.
Yeah, great guy.
Yeah, that was a fun interview as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot to look forward to in the weeks ahead. And I mean, this and for those keeping track, Steve has been kicking my ass in the free agent prediction. Dude, he went on this streak. He went on a streak, dude. With it was just like boom, boom, boom. I think once you had Bo Bichette going to the Mets, it was over. I was like, there's no way I can catch up. I mean, it was just like you had it too, man. I think you had Kyle Tucker going to the Dodgers. You had Bo Bichette to the Mets. You guessed those. You're the one that predicted those, right?
Yeah, the Caratini to the Twins.
Pulled that out of your ass. And I think if I go back to that show, I think you said you were just guessing.
I was.
You're like, I didn't do. I don't know. And then you're like,
it was. It's like let's try and find somebody.
I'm gonna give him Caratini. I'm like, what?
Yep.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, sometimes the stars align, right?
Yeah, they do. They do. Maybe you should go on. Maybe you should go on Lucky Rebel and start posting some bets.
You know what? I might.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
But everybody,
giving away my paycheck.
Yeah.
This one's gonna hit. I swear.
It's gonna hit. Yeah. Like you're all stressed out, bags in your eyes, hasn't slept in days.
God.
But everybody, have a great week, and we will catch you guys all next week.
Deuces.